Welcome to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. Hello and welcome back to the Kop TV. Again, another video with this fella right here, James Redmond. How are we, fella? Back again.
Belter, lads, belter. How are we, the peeps? Are we all back from the last stream? Because we bloody well better be. If I see any less numbers, then I'm going to be writing.
If you were watching the last video, we're now on here predicting the starting lineup for Saturday's crunch game at Goodison Park against Everton. Like I said, I am going to have Top of the Cops tonight with an Everton fan, so do watch that for more content at 6 o'clock. But in the meantime, James, we're going to go through the starting 11. And the question is in the title, isn't it? It's who is starting in goal. So take the floor away. Who's going to start in goal? And then we'll go on to defenders, midfielders and attackers. If you haven't already, guys, I know a lot of you are locking in right now. How are we? And like it and comment and press subscribe if you haven't already. James's link will be in the description too. James, goalkeeper, let's go.
Well, when this game against Aston Villa first concluded, I was very emotional and very angry, and I'm not going to lie, I was really heavily calling for Kelleher to be involved with this game or have some sort of involvement, just because I was on that side of Adrian just being done. And I think I had the attitude to Adrian after this game than what I had to Karius after the Champions League final. Not as angry or sad, but just in terms of the performance and stuff like that. But now with time going by, I think you've kind of got to start Adrian. I think for the same reasons that you drop Adrian for this game will be just as bad of reasons to start Kelleher. He wouldn't be quite ready, but he could easily just as well as make a mistake, because we know the way goalkeepers get the sharpness is by playing football, and you see how bad Adrian is when he's this sharp. Like, if he's playing as much football as he has, he must be sharp, and he's that bad. So I want to just ask you something dead quick, Alex, and I know it doesn't have much to do with the actual lineup itself, but with the goalkeeping situation, and it's only because a lot of people from my channel and stuff like that have been talking to me about it. Do you think we should have made the effort from the Villa game to go and get a new goalkeeper? Before you answer that, to put it in perspective, we've been linked with Jack Butland, fair enough. If he's not good enough for you, that's fine. But then you've also got free agents like Subasic from who used to play for Monaco, and he's a free agent, and it's just like, he's actually a good goalkeeper with good stats, and he's not known notoriously for making mistakes. So for a Liverpool team, who, as we know, Alisson is relatively injury prone, wouldn't you think we'd go out and get a new goalkeeper when we know that the backup choice that we've got right now isn't reliable?
Great question, James. I think the first part of that I'd have to answer with, it's not very Liverpool-like to react like that.
True.
The clearest memory I have of us reacting like that, and this was maybe before you even started watching football, mate, which makes me feel fucking old, by the way.
You need to swear feeling old, you know. I speak like a 50-year-old wizard, so it's cool.
Yeah, true. You are a wide absolute wizard, aren't you? But what I was going to say, sorry, I just got a message popped up. Delete WhatsApp whilst you're on a stream. Gives you messages popped up. But what I would say is the winter of 2003, some of our older viewers might remember, we signed Neil Jones, I think his name was, on an...
I was alive, but it was before I was properly watching, because I was 2.
There you go. I mean, I was watching when I was 3, 97. But anyway, let's save that for another video. But Neil Jones, Paul Jones, he was called. We signed him from Southampton, bro, and it was an emergency purchase. So it was outside of the transfer window, but because Dudek and Westerveld, I think at the time, or Dudek, definitely, and there was another keeper, maybe Chris Kirkland, right?
Yeah.
So we physically didn't have another keeper, so the league allowed us to go and get one. That was the last time I remember us replacing a goalkeeper like that.
Yeah.
When it, in an emergency. I would actually call this an emergency. Obviously, the Premier League aren't going to allow us to buy a keeper from the wider transfer market. But like you say, bro, when something like that happens, and I'd hate us to be known as being a knee-jerk reaction club, but when something like that happens, and let's not forget, it's not really a knee-jerk because of the Atletico game and because of other times last season that just made us kind of shit ourselves a bit. We've seen in the comments there in the last video, no one's ever paid £1 for Adrian before. With all that in mind, I think that reaction would have been justified if we had gone and got a Subasic, if we had gone and got a Butland. I think that decision would have been justified. I'm not going to lie. I would have loved us to have actually been a little bit more ruthless in that situation and gone, right, I'm sorry, Adrian, the time's up. We've had a good run. You're out. Butland's coming in. A 29-year-old who's happy to sit on the bench for Liverpool, but Premier League experience. And I'm not being funny. I'd have him over Adrian in goal any day of the week.
That's what I mean. These options that made that much money are better than what we've got. Exactly. So why wouldn't we go out? But like you said, Jurgen Klopp doesn't take that approach.
But what you're saying makes perfect sense, because I don't think that Adrian's... I mean, we didn't pay anything for him, but I don't think his wages would be too different. If not, it would be cheaper in a way. He's used to Championship wages, right?
That's it.
I think we should have made the decision within the transfer window, but of course we can still do stuff right now.
That's what I'm saying. But we've also had our chance. That's what I'm saying. Nothing's going to be done. Nothing's going to be done, lads. And
it's not going to happen, guys.
That's it. And it's devastating because there is options out there that would be better for our team. And I dislike that stubbornness from Klopp from time to time. But when you look at it in hindsight, it usually works out. So we've just got to kind of shut up and sit back, to be fair.
What you just said then, we've got to shut up and be quiet. Who knows, bro? We could watch that game and it's 1-0 to us. Adrian saves a fucking penalty in the last second. Do you know what I mean? And now we're all like, right, he's a legend now. Well, people still bring up the Super Cup game that he had against Chelsea.
Yeah. And like I asked the question the other day, and it was just a hypothetical one: who was better for Liverpool, Adrian or Mignolet? And people were the only reason if Adrian got the edge was because of the Super Cup, whereas everyone else was saying Mignolet is an overall better goalkeeper, which I agree with. But in this context, it's just like you can afford. Usually, you can afford the odd mistake against Aston Villa because it is what it is. It's Aston Villa, and usually their heads might drop if they're 1 or 2-1 up. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, what happened. But in this game, you can't afford to gift Everton any goals. Not with the form that they're in. Not with the attack not with how good their attack is looking. James Rodriguez, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, fucking all these players that are going to offer a threat can get goals anyway. You can't be giving them freebies, mate. And that's something that Adrian can do. And that's the only reason I'm speaking up about wanting a backup goalkeeper. I'm not trying to say there's a big problem, but if you do look at it logistically, our first choice goalkeeper, who was very good, gets injured quite a bit. And then when it comes to Adrian, he's just not good enough to be our first choice goalkeeper, even to step in. Kelleher's too young. I'm just putting 2 and 2 together and getting the right answer, which is 4.
It makes so much sense for us to go in. But now, because we're at this stage and we haven't done it, we ain't going to do it. And I think we've summed it up perfectly how pretty much every Liverpool fan feels at the minute. And that is, we want it, but we're just not going to get it. I can't see it. It's not in our nature. However, we want it. And we desperately, I would say at this stage. Actually, but then again, bro, you have to play devil's advocate and say, well, Adrian has lost 1 Premier League game whilst he's been in goal for Liverpool. And it was the Aston Villa game.
Still, though, Alex, it's just like you've got to put into perspective.
Play devil's advocate, man.
No, you can play devil's advocate.
He's lost 1 game for us.
No, I know what you're trying to do, but the fact that you've decided to play a game of devil's advocate, here's where you lose. It doesn't matter that he's played 1 game and lost it. It's the fact that he's been at fault for countless goals. I'm not trying to say loads and loads and loads, but even little mistakes. You look back at the Southampton game, that nearly cost us that game because of the mistake that Adrian made. It's more than just the points. We have got, this is why that performance was so bizarre, because of the 10 men in front of the goalkeeper is so good. But other than that performance against Villa, usually the players in front of Adrian can save Adrian, but there's a reason why, like that statement that you said before, why he's joined every club for free. It's because people don't want him and they'll take him if he's an option. I think he's an okay shot stopper, but there's so much wrong with his game that he's just not. It doesn't quantify being the first choice for Liverpool, which when Alisson is out, that's what Adrian is, and I can't, I'm not happy or comfortable with accepting that.
You know what? Some great opinions here about Adrian. It's such a debate at the minute. And Dicko makes another great statement here. Don't understand some of our fans so against Butland. Sure, expect £100 million backup. I mean, that is Yeah, what do we actually expect? Do we think we're going to go out and spend 30 million on Courtois or someone to sit
That's
on
what I'm
the
saying, and I'm not being funny. He's 27. He's 27. Yes, he might have just became Stoke's backup, because that's what I was hearing from Stoke fans. Oh, he's our backup now. No, that was only from the beginning of this season. And also, he has been at a level in the Premier League where we were like, we'll take him. When we had Mignolet and that, we were saying, we'll take Jack Butland.
Yeah,
60 million.
I wanted to.
60 million, Jack Butland 100%. So that's who he was going to get if we didn't get Alisson. But now, when it comes, just because he's been in the Championship and it's 5 million, like, come on, lad, like, go and jump on that.
Yeah, listen, bro, I could talk to you about this all day long.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the defence. I'm going to get into some of your preview 11 here. Suggestion there. If you want to send in your starting 11 predictions, let us know, and we'll show them at the end. But we're going to start with, obviously, Trent and Robbo both play. Let's just get that out of the way now.
Yeah.
For me, it's Verge and Joel Matip. Tell me what you think to that.
Right, I understand why you say Joel Matip, because obviously it's evident that Joe Gomez needs a rest, and that's where me and you were in agreement. And I'm not saying I wouldn't want to see Matip start, but from what I think we will see start, I think we could see Fabinho being moved back into the defence myself. Obviously, we'll move into the midfield in a sec, but with the fact that a few players are coming back into the midfield, I don't think Jürgen will want to play Gomez because of the lack of form, and I don't think Jürgen will want to play Matip because he hasn't had the minutes. And we know Jürgen, like we were talking about, his stubbornness. He's not really one to push a player right back into the equation, even if fans like me and you feel like we desperately need him, which I would not mind seeing Matip myself. But because we've seen Fabinho do a job at centre-back already this season, it wouldn't surprise me if he does well against Everton, if he plays in that game at centre-back. So if you're asking me, I'd go with Fabinho and Verge.
Okay, let us know in the comments. Do we have a combination of Verge and Gomez, Verge and Matip, or is it Verge and Fabinho? Which combination will you go for? Because it is my channel, James, I'm going to have the final call, and this does go in the description. But what I am going to say, it's for me, it's now you've brought Fabinho in. See, that wasn't really in my thinking. You've thrown me a bit there.
But I'm only trying to give you the side of it from how
you're right, You're right. I'm going to agree with you. Fabinho and Verge at the back. And I think a lot more people in the comments now are definitely also agreeing with you. Adrian, Verge and Fabinho there. Another shout. We'll get into that full 11 in a minute. But that's the defence sorted then. I think after all of that, we kind of concluded that Adrian still will play in goal. So I don't think we actually answered the question. It was just 10 minutes of debate.
Yeah.
But yeah, Adrian, at the minute, it's Trent. It's the Fabinho and Verge combination with Robbo on the left. Let's get into the midfield. The first name I'm sticking in, and we can be very happy about this, is Thiago Alcantara.
You know the score.
You know the dance. There you go.
Honestly, that's it, mate. He's got to. He's absolutely got to come into this game. That's it. And you saw the way he comes in against Chelsea and the way he plays in that number 6 role. I'm more than happy to see Thiago come into this game. I'm more than happy to see him tear Evans shreds. If that's what it needs to be, then that's how it needs to be. And like I said, with Henderson, I'm not giving away who I think is going to start, but with Henderson and Thiago at least available for this game, that's a different story to what we had going into Aston Villa.
Woo! I think I tweeted at the time I'd love to see Henderson and Thiago, and in an ideal world, Fabinho start every game in midfield. That Henderson-Thiago combo, I think, is going to be slightly underrated, but when we start winning a lot of games, people will realise that we desperately need both of them in the team at the same time. Right, so Thiago's in. Give me a midfielder who's going to play with him.
Wijnaldum.
Sticking Ginny in. Okay, cool. If we're going with Fabinho at centre-back, perfect sense to play Ginny in midfield.
That's what I'm saying. He'll add the box-to-box side of things into the midfield. He usually does well with Henderson around him. There's no reason for me to think he wouldn't do well with Thiago. If anything, Thiago, it doesn't surprise me if we see Thiago elevate these players in not only the midfield but the team overall. Even Robbo or Trent, whoever he plays next to, we could really see the elevation in their performance. just with the influence of Thiago. But yeah, I think Gini, this is a great game for him. He's a hard worker. He did have a poor game against Villa. He's had one or two questionable performances this season, but we know when he turns up, he is one of the men that is really important. And I feel like in this game, he could step up. So I go with Gini just in front of him.
Yeah, I'm going to stick Hendo in. Have obviously captained England the other night. I don't think he'll play tonight against Denmark. I mean, I wouldn't like him to play, to be honest with you. I mean, yes, for the match sharpness to get him back up there, but trust me, if there's one person you do not need to motivate to come back for a game against Everton, it's Liverpool's super captain, Jordan Henderson. I think he comes in and instantly we see an absolute improvement, to be honest, in terms of the energy in midfield, the creativeness. Get Hendo back in this starting lineup as soon as possible. So that's the midfield. Thiago, Wijnaldum and Henderson. I mean, there's not much point in debating who's up front. It's the normal three. And as we now know, the first ever time that Firmino, Salah and Mane play together against Everton.
Hey, that's a real occasion, by the way. Like that's
a head fucker.
That is a head fucker. Yeah.
It's, how lucky Everton are to have never caught us in the period when we played them three. No wonder we haven't scored there for 4 years in a row.
I was going to say that. You talk about these Goodison goalless draws and stuff. It's because them three aren't playing in them games. And now it is going to be a different story, Alex. And we saw that they're still on fire, the front three. And I think we forgot to bring up a name. I know he's not going to start probably, but Thiago Jota, with the addition of him being it, just the availability of him being able to come on. But that front three alone, the fact that this is the first time we're going to see them against Everton's defence, yes, please. Yes, please. That is exactly what I ordered.
I'm very excited for that. It's like going into your favourite shop and they still don't have your favourite cake.
Defo.
And now you go and you're like, right, now we're talking. Now this is going to get demolished.
This is looking sexy. I am going to scram this cake until it's off the plate, defo. I'm licking the plate as well.
You've got your three favourite cakes. Normally they only have one or two in, but all three are your favourite cakes.
That's what I'm saying. You're spoiled for choice. That's what it is. That's something that Liverpool haven't been recently.
Let's talk about, so we'll go through the team again. Adrian, Trent, Verge, Fabinho, centre-back, Robertson, Wijnaldum, Henderson, Thiago. Cannot wait for that. Mane, Firmino, Salah up front. Let's touch on the bench. You mentioned Diego Jota there. Can we see the likes now of Kelleher? Will probably have to be on the bench now. And also Origi, Minimino to come on, Milner to come on, Nico, Shaqiri, Jota. I mean, there's going to be a fight to even get on that bench now.
That's it, Alex. But I think we knew that coming into the season. We know that we've got good squad depth. We know that we've got good options in the team. It is just about who does get the call up, who does get the nods. And I think Jurgen Klopp puts many factors into choosing even the bench, not just the starting 11. And it's who will be the bigger impact if Liverpool are struggling. You've got to think of many different scenarios of how we could, if we are losing or whatever, or if it's not going our way, we've got to think of the scenarios beforehand of why that could possibly be. Therefore, if we could introduce a Naby Keita off the bench, or like you say, Shaqiri, because I believe Naby Keita, the rumours of him having corona shut down, like that's like he tested negative. Yeah, so there's another option who can come on, and it's everything that quantifies a performance. But the bench is very important, and that's one thing Jurgen Klopp will put a lot of thought into, especially for this game, because historically it is usually a tight game at Goodison, so it might be the difference of an Origi or a Diego Jota if the front three aren't turning up. Right,
let's get into some comments.
Do it.
Let's start from here then. So Ant goes, Adrian, Trent, Verge, Matip, Robbo, Thiago, Henderson, Fabinho. I mean, to be honest, Ant, that was pretty much my team until I spoke to James, and then he opened my mind up a bit more. And I can see Fabinho playing at centre-back for this game. Now, especially with how well he played against Chelsea, against Werner, he's going to have James coming at him, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin. I think he's big enough and strong enough with the other lads to deal with them. Can any of us go and goal for Saturday, mate?
I know a few people have to go and goal. I mean, Nanu's got no legs is one of them, by the way. She would do a 10 times better job than what friggin' Adrian did the other day. But I've got a few people that can call, but I don't think it's allowed, mate.
Nepenthes has a nice beard. Incoming 0-0. Yo Nazir LFC says James Redmond to make his debut for Liverpool in the goalkeeper position. I would like know how much I would pay to see that. I'd pay the 15 quid that them robbing bastards are after.
The only thing is, I'm actually quite liked in Liverpool at the minute, so a goalkeeper performance might change every ounce of that, because I consider myself a player of any position except goalkeeper. That's the only one that I don't facilitate myself with. I have not got the facilities for that, big man. So I'm happy to chill in all my outfield positions 100%. Fuck that goalkeeper. That's why I feel sorry for goalkeepers, because they're just like failed outfield footballers, and it's just like, it's heavy.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the only position I wouldn't play in. Noah here says, I agree, Alex. We needed to be ruthless. We played 14 Premier League games with him last season and won all 14. He is okay when he finds his form, but mistakes are always there with him. Our defence lacks confidence of Adrian and goal. That's just a true statement. Take Jack Butland. We can't be so reactionary because he's the only senior keeper there, whether you wanted him or not. If Butland were that good, why is he still available? That's a good point from Beijing Pops.
No, but there's always more to it. And don't get me wrong, Beijing Pops does make a good point there. But there is always a little bit more to why players don't get the move and stuff like that. Like, why is Jack Grealish still not playing for the top 6 club? Yeah. Why is... Do you know what I mean, lads? It's like... there is always a bit more that goes on behind the scenes that we're not aware of. And don't get me wrong, great point. But I'm still taking Jack Butland all day.
Fair play. Millie in goal, Trent, Robbo, Fab Verge, Thiago, Hendo, Ginny, Mo, Bobby, Sadio. Yeah, Milner in goal.
Why not? Why not? Why not? Do you know what I mean, lads? He's done everything else. When he was playing left back like a baller, like friggin' Marcelo, I was thinking, you know what, lad, this guy can just do pretty much anything. So, speaking of Marcelo, why don't we try our new goalkeeper, Marcelo? What's his name? Pitaluga. We'll get him in goal. He looks boss. He looks like someone that's just is going to grow into like a Buffon or something like that. And if that happens, believe me, I'm made up. I am absolutely chuffed because he's tall, he's skinny, he's one of them. He's got a good frame for a goalkeeper.
Do you know what? You're so right, because when you look at people who say, like yourself earlier, who said Kelleher's too young, he's too young. Look at Donnarumma. Man was, playing for AC Milan when he was 16. Now he's probably 20, and he's probably got 200 caps and he's taken over Buffon for Italy as well. The Italians do it different with goalkeepers though. They breed them motherfuckers from birth, and they're in the starting 11 at 17 100%. And they play 1,000 games like Buffon, like 43 or something. It's a joke. There's something in the water with these Italian goalkeepers, but look at them giving him a chance. If we did give someone a younger chance and they had a great game, confidence goes up. But with goalkeepers, you have to say, James, at the same time, they could make 10 saves in a game and keep us in it. It's 1-0. They let a goal in the last minute. It's 1-1. And that mistake that they make is what they're remembered for. You might have made 10 of the best saves you've ever seen in your life 10 minutes before that. But you have to give it to them, man. It's a tough one.
You've literally, do you know, if you, as you have just said that, the first person that came to my brain was Mignolet. I think that's what Mignolet was. He would make the mistake in a game, and that would change the perspective of fans. But he would make so many world-class saves where you just think, like, if you could do that, minus the mistakes, I am very happy with you being the goalkeeper for Liverpool Football Club. But he could never get that run of form where them mistakes was out of his game. That's when he got replaced by Karius. We saw the same story there with him, and then even now with Adrian. It's only Alisson who's came in, and he's pretty much perfect. And that's why it's so devastating. Like, this is the thing. We've got the best goalkeeper in world fucking football, and we're talking about Jack Butland and Adrian as our first choice. It's devastating, and I really do hope. I know the latest injury for Alisson weren't like his own fault. It was a clash in training, but I really do hope he can just stay fit. Like, do you know what I mean? He's getting injured as much as Oxlade, and to be honest, I'm not for it, and I just want to see him back.
Do you know what? I was there for the first game of last season when we beat Norwich 4-1, and I think after 7 minutes, Alisson came off.
Yeah.
And, yes, he is the best goalkeeper in the world, but I'm just like, why do you keep getting injured? Why? What is it?
It's not his fault, though.
Injuries. Of course, bro. Of course it's not his fault. And maybe my question is a rhetoric one. Maybe there isn't an answer for it, right? But I'm just like, and it's different injuries every time.
No, it is.
His hamstring, then it's his shoulder. I'm just like, like you, please, bro, just stay in goal. He's already missed the chance to get a 38-game season in. Pepe Reina, just to be fair to him, used to just do that every season. We'd play every game. I want a full season from Alisson. I'm about to say Adrian there.
You still see how many clean sheets he gets though after.
Oh no, he's still up there, bro. He can play
That's it.
25 games and he'll get 19 clean sheets. Maybe Alisson will, but. Come on, let's start a hashtag. Alisson for a full season.
Alisson on one leg in goal, let's do it.
Ruby says Adrian, Verge, Fabinho, Trent, Robbo, Henderson, Thiago, Ginny, and it's straightforward from there. Ali, though, says Verge and Joel, please. VVD and Matip, we need Fabinho in midfield. Could go 3-4-3. VVD and Matip, aka Young Hansen. Wow, that's a big shout.
Alex, do you know going into this game, because one thing I think Liverpool fans have kind of discredited is obviously we've been playing a high line recently, but do you see possibly can you see us? I don't think we quite asked. Could you see us changing the way we actually play in this game? Like obviously you've got to change the way you play for every single game, but obviously we have a set approach to every single fixture. Do you think that completely changes going into this one, just based on the last performance?
It might force us into something different. I don't think we'll change the formation because you can still change the game without changing the formation, if that makes sense.
No, yeah.
I think it's just such a difficult one to call, James. I just don't know. Because we're thinking about what Klopp's going to do, but Ancelotti's there thinking about what Klopp's going to do as well and preparing for... So we just don't know. We don't know. It's so hard to predict this one.
That's why I mentioned about the Ancelotti-Klopp thing, because they're both just they're in the elite category.
They're playing 8D chess right now as we speak, basically, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
They're playing 8D chess right now. They're each other out. 8D and now. Wow, some funny comments there. Some of Alex's shots with Doyle the other day, mad. Certainly wasn't expecting you to be a baller.
Baller!
If you don't know about me being a baller, I used to have a football show on Grime Daily called Posting In. Rappers, influencers, comedians, get on that and you'll see the levels. I used to hit it top bins for fun. It's not even and I am a good baller. Doyle's up there as well. Need to get James down as well, of course. Yeah, big up my brother Doyle, top freestyler. He's also about to do some amazing content that we should all keep an eye out for as well, by the way, with AFTV on something. So, yeah, all good there. GK is a thankless job. I agree. Oblak, the best keeper. I don't know. It's between Neuer, Alisson, and Oblak. I'd say they're the top three right now.
Yeah, I think Oblak and Alisson have slightly jumped above Neuer in the pecking order. I think with the fact Alisson's been injured, you can put Oblak at the top. Not saying I think that, but you can do that, and I'd be okay with it. But it is a difficult one, like you say, because Neuer's been so good for so long. You could say he's not as good anymore, and then Alisson, he's been injured. Oblak's the only one who's been able to get that consistency in, but they're all classmates, you know what I mean? Or any of them over Adrian.
Basically, one more here from Nuclear Atoms. Adrian, Van Dijk, Trent, Robbo, Fabinho, Hendo, Thiago, Curtis Jones.
That's what I saw that straight away. I just saw Curtis Jones. That's an interesting one, mate. But you know what? He's got a goal against them. So.
By the way, I love how he's given everyone nicknames or initials, but he spelled out Curtis Jones.
Curtis Jones.
Where's his middle name? You didn't put that in as well.
That's what I mean.
Right, so guys, thank you so much for getting involved. We've already hit the same numbers of live viewers as we did on the last video. So big love to the Redmond army. Get behind James. I've put his link in the description whilst we've been speaking. Yes. Listen, it is a fucking absolutely huge game, to be honest. And the fact that it's a 12:30 kickoff as well just makes me a little bit more nervous.
Sets the tone for the weekend. Sets the tone
for the weekend. But if you remember from a couple shows ago, I said statistically we play our best and win the most points at 5:30 on a Saturday, and get our least points at 12:30 on a Saturday.
That is not ideal. It's not ideal. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
If you're about them kind of omens and that then this could be a different one.
I was feeling so much better because one thing that usually makes me feel better about football is having a chat with someone that knows what they're talking about when it comes to football. So that being yourself in this situation. But overall, my mate, when you've just mentioned that, you've just brought me back down to it. It's just like shit. It's like shit. Like, this could be bad. Like, I just think, like, the last time I was running my mouth and stuff like that was Man United losing 6-1 to Spurs. And then what happened. So I'm just glad none of that is available because we're playing first. But it's just like if we lose and we've got to spend all weekend and then all the way until the next derby here in the blue shites about winning a derby, then Like, I live here. Like, I know people who are Blues. And, like, that's the only reason why this lockdown could be the perfect time, is if we lose to Everton. But I still don't think it'll happen. I know people have the reason to be upset, but I believe in my boys, lads. And I believe that we can wipe out the Blue Shag for sure.
Do you know what? Abraham here makes a great shout. Why don't we do a YouTube watch-along here on James's channel? 100%. We should do this.
Yeah.
I haven't thought before, but we should definitely do
Listen, one thing I can say is if we can do that, but we can also, like, honestly, mate, like, when the content is coming more out soon, like, I've got so many ideas for my channel. Obviously, Alex, like, you're a part of them ideas, but then same with this channel. We've got big things coming, people. You don't need to just hear it from me. I'm sure Alex has been telling you as well. But on both the Kop TV and James Redmond TV, believe me, the level of content that is going to be coming your way over the next few months, it is a different level. It is going to be some things that you haven't seen before, and also things that's going to be different, and it'll give you a different perspective as well, and just a real LFC fan view. So make sure that you're staying in tune and make sure you stay supporting.
Yes, bro, I love that. We've actually, we've got some new shows lined up behind the scenes that we're going to launch in a brand new studio, as well as doing the watch-alongs, the match reviews on here as well. Obviously, I was supposed to be with you yesterday, bro, in Liverpool, but
with what's happened, though, it's unfortunate. Don't get me wrong, it is shit, man. Like, obviously, I'm devastated about the pubs and the gym shutting again because they're going to be closing, and it's devastating. But we all keep our heads up in these tough times, showing me and my mates, and that's all we can do. And obviously, I hope everyone by where you are is safe as well.
Absolutely, bro. Listen, so much more to come. I'm just hoping that when we come back to do the fan cams with
we both look like this.
Hopefully that's what we look like, and not like, I don't want to be getting sent 7-Up bottles again. Ever.
No,
that was horrible. Oh, God, straight in the bin that was. I think I had a couple of tips and it was away. But we have to win this game. This is, in my opinion, James, to just finish us off, the biggest Merseyside derby in your lifetime. How about that?
You know what, lads? What quantifies how big a Merseyside derby is? No, I understand in terms of the stakes, but, is a Wembley semi-final in the FA Cup a bigger game than this? Just to play devil's advocate. Man like Andy Carroll goes in and wins the game. At the time, our biggest record transfer signing, big up the fathead. Listen, no, lad, I get the point that you're trying to make. In the present, we do tend to have a bias towards the present, and for that reason, I do think it's the biggest game of my lifetime. And in terms of quality, in terms of what 11 both teams are setting out, this has got to be the closest we're ever going to get to the best quality that both teams are going to have for the derby. So it's for a neutral. If you're a neutral and you're watching this, shout out to Thiago, the Crystal Palace fan.
Yeah.
Then he's going to really enjoy this game, mate. He's going to love it because I feel like this could be, like I said before, I don't see a 0-0. I can see this being a high-scoring game. I said 2-1 as the score prediction, but if that doesn't happen, then it can be a high-scoring game.
I love that. I get it. I understand it, don't I? Right, I'm going to say it now. We have to fucking win on Saturday. I'm going to see you, all you beautiful people, back here with James Redmond as the first fan cam that we do on Saturday after the game. Don't forget, Top of the Cops at 6 o'clock tonight. You've only got an hour and 15 till you see me again. But James, all the best, my bro. Follow him in the description, and let's have a big result and get it right come Saturday at 12:30 at Goodison Park. Like, comment, and subscribe. Take care.
Come on, you Reds.